back again. Our next step is, I just moved it. Our next step is basically, because I am assuming you have a religiously based motivation to homeschool, then you'll want to make your beliefs a big part of your day. And so basically, I don't have a one word fits all. Some people call it a family devotion time, a Bible study. When my children were little, we called it shepherd time, since the Bible talks about Jesus being the good shepherd, and we're the sheep. So it was a time to talk to our shepherd, our good shepherd. So we called it shepherd time for a long time. I forgot about that. And now I call it foundations time, because this is the foundation of our day. It's the most important thing we do, is to get in that right relationship with God, know what He has to say to us. And I've always said, if we don't do anything else in a day, we're going to get that done. And then next, math. I feel like those are the first two. Anyway, that's up to you. So think about what's important to you to pass on. You and your spouse, what are you going to pass on from your faith that you want your children to know? For us, obviously reading the Bible. I picked up a few things when they were little, and all of them were little. This was the very first thing we used, and you can tell because this is the state it is in. It was actually mine when I was little. I thought it was written on your phone. And this is what's left of it. And you can see, it's that long, colorful pictures, a couple questions. I think I wrote in it when I was little, but it might have been my older boys. And we did that, and Daddy would pray. And that was all we did when they were, 5 and under. Moved up when they got older to this, we call the picture Bible, and it's a comic book style. So 12 panels for everything. And for being a comic book style, I thought it was very detailed. They don't have everything covered. Obviously it would be a lot bigger if it did. But we liked it. We used this for a lot of years. And then once I kind of worked through the process that I'm explaining to you now, that's when I really got more detailed about what I wanted to pass on. And of course, my oldest at that point was 15, I think. He'd finished 9th grade when I kind of worked through all this in my head and set up what we call foundations time. That's, here are the things I included. And again, please don't ever let me come across as saying, do as I do. That's not the point. I just try to say, work it through in yourself. And here I'm throwing out examples, because I always like to hear examples when people are giving me kind of an idea to work through. It helps me to kind of have a starting point. The first thing I wanted to include was music, particularly the great hymns of the faith is what I call them. I grew up in a denomination where the music was really a big part of that and was very enriching to me. The hymns come back to me probably faster than scripture. Things that rhyme usually do. But that's how we always start our day, is with a hymn, trying to teach the children that. And this is where I need to stop and thank my mother for making me learn piano, because that's how we start. I play the hymn, just the treble clef. That's all I'm capable of, about 2 notes at a time. Because I did weasel out of those lessons, even though my mom made me take them for a while. And here's just a logistical point. This is how I get everybody to come in the morning. I think a lot of times the hardest part of starting the day of school is getting everyone together. At least maybe not for if you only have a couple children, but when you got a group, it's harder, I think. Maybe it's hard no matter what. I haven't found out yet. And I play the piano. I play through the hymn, one verse, and that is, we have an electric one, so I can turn it up really loud. And I do that, and so that everyone can hear it. And they have that one verse of instrumental to gather. And if that doesn't happen, then we do from time to time. If I see people are late and aren't there by the time we start singing, it's what we've done is you get 25 cents for being on time, but you get 50 cents taken away if you're late. So it's kind of you have a potential win and a potential loss. So you can earn $1.25 just for being on time, but you could lose $2.50. So that's how we've done that. So that's how they know to come gather, and I'm not having to wander the house trying to get everyone to come. But all that to say, music has been a big deal that we wanted to pass on. So we learn a hymn about every month. Prayer time, that's huge. We do a time of personal confession quietly, and then I take requests for the family, and I try and make it kind of pertinent to us as individuals and not trying to pray for everything in the world and everything we know about, but things that pertain to them specifically. We do a time of praise in that. You might want to do something about character qualities. We have a book that we use, and there are a lot out there, that talks about different character qualities, has a definition, has some I wills that kind of say, well, if I have this character quality, I will be like this. And we learn those. We do synonyms, antonyms, the definition from different places. And kind of talk about how to apply those in life. Bible reading, obviously, man, I'm always saying obviously in these videos, and it bugs me because it's very condescending, and I hate when people are condescending. I am sorry. I really am trying not to. So, Bible reading, obviously. So, Bible reading, we want to know what God has to say to us. Another part of that, and you can decide how in depth you want to go with that. You might want to study something very deeply and dive into it and cover 1 or 2 verses a day and really know those well and the meanings and all that. You might just want to read it with no commentary, no study. A good friend of mine, I remember, told me once, she said, by the time my children graduate, I want them to have heard every word of the Bible from their mother's lips. I thought that was outstanding. So, that's up to you. Memory of Scripture memorization was a huge one for me. You can figure out that. You might want to memorize catechisms. That's an option. What else do we do? You might want to use that time for journaling. I've seen some really nice little thankful journals for young children even. Those look really cool to cultivate gratefulness in your child. So there's so many options, and I'm always sorry for people who are just starting homeschool because the options are so varied, they're so immense that it's overwhelming. And back in my day, 20 years ago, the options weren't quite what they are now. And so I didn't have that overwhelming crush of information. So the point to that is, here's the assignment. Think through how you want to pass on your values, your faith to your children, what that will look like, how much time you want to spend doing it. Ours is 30 minutes now with older ones, and they don't start sitting in on it until first grade. And I don't expect a lot of participation until older. So that's that. Find out how you want to do that.